You know, when it comes to a kid's horror book, you always got to worry about what type of villains you run into. You could run into possible serial killers, you could run into werewolves or vampires, and obviously that strikes fear within kids because you realize you're really hopeless in this situation. You can't fight your way out of a werewolf or a 7 foot tall Bigfoot or a dragon. You know, those things you can't fight back. But then you got a sponge with eyeballs. And I ain't talking about Spongy 444. Now I'm talking about an actual dish sponge with eyeballs. Like the ones you see at stores. Like, I don't know, the ones you see at Walmart. Like the Walmart discount sponges. But like with black beady eyeballs. That's what we're dealing with in the story. Alright? Don't look at me. You looking at me like I wrote it. I ain't wrote that. Alright, I don't got much common sense, but I got enough sense to know that that doesn't make much sense. Bars. But I do have to say, this did make for a pretty fun story, and I did enjoy myself, alright? Not every Goosebumps book has to be the most scary or the most well-written. Some of them are just entertaining, and this one is pretty entertaining. So, let's get into the review. So, I'm going to be talking about one of the original 62 books, the one that came right after Night of the Living Dummy 2, which I have read, and spoiler alert, really did enjoy. And Monster Blood 3, which I have not read, but after reading Monster Blood 2, can't say I'm too excited for that one. But yeah, this came in between there, which is like a little gap. You know, you got the main Slappy book coming out, you got the main Monster Blood book coming out, and in between, you get this little goofy piece of entertainment called It Came From Beneath the Sink, right? And that's not a metaphor. It straight up came from beneath the sink, all right? You deal with the sponge that's got eyes, and it possibly has to do with inciting bad luck within anybody's lives for the owner that owns it. Now, granted, this thing is causing a little bit too much trouble for how goofy it is. Because let me tell you something. If this creature started acting up around me, I'm going to take you and clean some gas station toilets, all right? I'm going to use you to clean some gas station toilets. I'm taking you right to 7-Eleven, and I'm going to scrub it top to bottom, all right? You're going to come out with a heroin needle, some cockroach legs, and some doo-doo stains, all right? I'm going to mistreat you for all the little annoying stuff you do to me, all right? You think you're so strong? You think you're so tough? All right, I'm going to invest in a dishwasher, all right? I got OxyClean and a dishwasher, and I got Mr. Clean with this shining bald son of a head, all right? I don't got to worry about you. That is until you realize you can't get rid of this thing, and the bad luck will keep on pursuing, all right? So in this story, let's get into the plot synopsis. You have a girl named Kat, and you have a younger brother of hers named Daniel. And they're moving in with their family to a new house. And the new house is pretty old. It looks pretty, you know, kind of dingy, but it's very spacious. Comes with a lot of space. They each get their own individual rooms, and Kat gets her own room as well, and she gets a lot of space involved in it. So everybody in the family is pretty happy. And as they start investigating this house and seeing what's up with it, eventually Kat goes to the kitchen to help out with her mother's chores that she needs to do around the household. And she opens up the bottom of the sink, and she finds a sponge. And obviously that's not shocking, all right? People use sponges all the time. You got sponges at the bottom of the sink. Not that big of a deal, all right? Now, it is pretty old. It is pretty, looks, you know, dried up and dingy. But, you know, it's an old house. The, you know, previous owners may have left it behind. But then it starts throbbing in her hands, as if it's breathing. And she swears she can hear it making noises. And she's like, is this thing alive? Is this a sponge? I mean, sponges are supposed to be dead, right? Like when you use them, they're supposed to be dead. They're not supposed to be alive. This thing's moving. And she thinks that she might be hallucinating. But then her dog, which is a Cocker Spaniel, by the way. Stein really loves his Cocker Spaniels. You have one in Monster Blood, and then you have one here. They are cute, so no complaints. I do like Cocker Spaniels. I like when the dogs are not the main focus of the story. Barking dog shit ghost. Yeah, Stein, just make sure to keep the dogs as the side characters in the story. Don't make them the main focus, all right? It didn't end up so well. I don't know if I feel like giving you another chance. You got One Night at Paint House, which I heard was good, but that cover is kind of clickbait. It's not really about dogs. And you got Please Don't Feed the Vampire in GYG, which I don't really like poodles, so we'll see how I feel about that one. I heard it's good though, so we'll trust your judgment. But anyway, the dog starts barking at it, and it does not like this thing. It's growling, barking. Her dog never usually acts like this, and is really freaked out, really scared of this thing, really angry at this thing, as if it's some kind of wild animal it wants to kill. So she's like, all right, that's not a good sign. Does he sense something that I don't? Like, is he sensing something else? And then her brother comes in, and her brother also feels it pulsing and moving. So he's like, oh, this thing really is alive. You're not making it all up. So they realize, oh, this is a real creature. This is a real creature that is in the form of the sponge. And as she looks at the sponge, she sees two beady black eyes at the back of it. And she's like, oh, wow, this is an actual animal. We have an animal in the house. Aside from her animal that already exists. Which, by the way, I get so annoyed by that in kids' horror books, or even horror media in general. When you have a dog, and the dog starts growling, and it senses something that you don't, and you ignore the dog. Listen, if I have a dog, all right, and it starts sensing something, it starts growling at a closet, I'm jumping out that window right there. I'm hopping out of that window at light speed, all right? Because the whole reason I got a dog, aside from it being cute and petting and cuddling and all that, dogs got a sixth sense, all right? They got that spider sense, and they know when something's going wrong. So if my dog ever starts growling at a window, or growling at a closet, or growling under my bed, I'm going to take off like Barry Allen. You're not going to see me coming. I'm going to be a flash. All right, you're going to see, just you won't even probably see me. All right, I'm brown. All right, if it's nighttime, you're not even going to see me. And you think that's a joke? There have been times that my friends have straight up told me that, yo, I didn't see you walking out of that room when it's nighttime. And I was like, that's racist. But then I thought to myself, and I'm like, they're right. And you know what? It's an advantage. You're not going to see me leave. You're not going to see my presence. You're not going to know me. I'm a small guy. I can fit through tight spaces. You'll never see it coming. All right? But in this case, they don't escape the household. They stay with this little thing. And after some investigating through this mythical creature encyclopedia, they find out it's called a gruel. And this gruel may or may not have ties to invoking bad luck and bad juju, not bad doo-doo, this book's pretty entertaining, bad juju within households and the owners' lives. Because her father ends up falling off of a ladder, and he thinks that Cat was the one who pushed him. Not the case, she didn't push him, but he fell down and injured himself. More bad stuff starts happening. She realizes, oh, this thing may have something to do with it. Because she realizes this thing starts pulsating and acting up and, behaving in strange ways as soon as this bad luck and accidents sort of occur. So she's like putting two and two together, realizing, oh, this may or may not be the cause of it. And throughout the book, you kind of see what this thing is capable of, what it's sort of made of, what it sort of invokes, whether or not you can defeat or destroy it, and you'll see some more shenanigans and some more stuff going on throughout the book. So yeah, this is a pretty entertaining read, if I do have to say so. I don't want to spoil any more of the book, because if I spoil any more, it's going to give away. This book is pretty to the point, so I don't really want to give too much away, but that's enough for you to be interested. It's shenanigans involving this little sponge and some of the bad luck that happens, and let's just say the longer this thing stays around, the more people's lives are going to be at danger, and the more that Catherine's lives is basically going to be over, potentially done. So yeah, she has to make sure she can get rid of this thing, or keep it contained at least throughout the book. And I have to say, I did enjoy this story. I think it's fun. I think it's entertaining. It's not the greatest piece of writing in the world, but I don't think it needs to be, because I think this is one of those goofy type of books that accept the fact that it's goofy, and it tries to be entertaining, tries to make you laugh, tries to make you have a good time. And I think it does its job. I would say this is a pretty fun read. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to check out this book. And funny enough, this book actually reminds me of a Haunting Hour episode that I watched as a kid, because as a kid, I was obsessed with Haunting Hour. And I used to watch a lot of Haunting Hour. And there's actually an episode that is, I would say, very similar, to the point that that episode is probably based off of this book. Or I shouldn't say based, but inspired off of this book. And the episode is called Walls. And for those who don't know about Walls, I plan on reviewing Haunting Hour episodes eventually. But in Walls, basically, there's a family and a son who's dealing with this, I guess, noises or things that are going on in the walls. He's trying to figure out what are all these strange things occurring around the house. What are these noises within the walls? He thinks somebody may be living in his walls. And he finds this creature within the walls, and it does have powers that are based on luck. It has luck-based powers. And they actually find out what this thing is by him meeting up with his new friend. And they actually have this mythical creature encyclopedia. Just like how in this book there's a mythical creature encyclopedia, in Walls there's also a mythical creature encyclopedia. And that's how they find out what the creature is. So basically the same premise as this one. There is a few differences. Obviously the endings and stuff are different, but I don't want to spoil that either. So I'm just saying that there are parallels between this book and that one. So if you did happen to watch Walls as a kid, or if you ever seen that Haunting Hour episode, and for some reason you haven't read this book, they have some similarities. If you ended up liking that one, you're going to like this one. And most likely this one did inspire that episode. So yeah, I did find those connections, and I enjoyed Walls, so I did enjoy this book. A lot of the sort of bad luck / superstition stuff that goes on. It's straightforward, but it is effective. You do get this kind of sense of stress where you sort of feel nervous. You're like, you know, how much worse is this going to get? Can the main character figure it out? You kind of feel hopeless at one point, thinking, is there a way you can defeat or control this creature? You know, it gives you that sort of Night of the Living Dummy vibes where, you know, you get scared to the point that you're like, all right, is there a way we can beat this thing? On the outside, it doesn't seem very intimidating, but what goes on behind the scenes involving this thing, it is pretty terrifying. And obviously you get to the climax. The climax, I would say, even though it may seem goofy initially, the climax to the book is pretty, I would say, pretty reasonable. I think that the conclusion on what happens involving the Gruul and what happens involving the family, that made sense. It makes sense overall considering the nature of the creature. And I think the twist ending, even though it is goofy, the twist ending was set up earlier from a certain scene and from certain information that we got. So I like the twist ending that has setup, and this twist ending did have setup. So yeah. Do I recommend this book? Yeah, I do. I think this is an entertaining read. I think if you want to pick up this book and check it out, I for sure would recommend it. How do I rate it on the scale? I would probably give it, I would give it a 3 point. I would give it probably like a 3.65, 3.7 out of 5. I'd probably give it a 3.7 out of 5. So this is probably going to get anywhere between a 7.3 to 7.4 out of 10. So this is like a C-rated book. But even though it's a C-rated book, with a lot of the C-rated books, even though they're average, I find them good. A lot of the time, if they have a higher score, I enjoyed them. I have a fun time. The C-ranked books are ones that I think are entertaining, and even though they may not be the best pieces of Goosebumps media or fiction that's out there, they are worth the read, and I think they are worth having the fun, checking out a fun, unique story, a fun, unique creature, and fun, unique circumstances. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Obviously, I may have went off the rails a little bit. I don't want to spoil this book for many people because, again, it is a condensed story. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys do check out this book. And if you like this video and you like the other content on my channel, feel free to subscribe down below and like the video as well. And also comment down below your own thoughts and opinions. Do you like this book? Did you not like the book? What are your thoughts and opinions about the book? And what are some other books that you want me to review in the future or near future, and check them out? And you can just let me know and I will try to get to them. So yeah, feel free to subscribe and support, share this content around. It's a free way to support me. Lets me know that you guys like the content and motivates me to keep putting out more. And again, I have more content within my channel and playlist, so be sure to check the rest of that out as well. That's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good day. And yeah, see you till the next time. Deuces. This thing, man, I would have put that thing in a blender so fast. I don't care if you're indestructible, all right? You're going to go through 100 ways to die, all right? And let me tell you, them 7-Eleven bathrooms, they don't play around, all right? Trust me, I know from experience.